सीधा चालू कर देना है. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Happy Thursday to all of you. I hope you know why we have gathered today here. Yes, of course. First of all, I Hiral Vardani, welcome you all on behalf of D Vivid Consultant. Today, I'm here to share some of my knowledge about speaking part of IELTS exam. I hope you all know there are 4 modules in IELTS. Those are listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So, if I talk, listening is learning, reading is leading, writing should be perfect, while speaking must be smart. Of course, today we are talking about speaking only. So, speaking must be smart. That means candidates must show the smartness, involve smartness in speaking. Before I start the part of IELTS, speaking part of IELTS, I would like to share some general tips for improving our speaking skills. Simply any speaking skills, general speaking skills. For that, I suggest one must speak in front of mirror. If in the case of lack of confidence, we should stand in front of mirror and speak whatever we want. With that, the confidence comes in and we can judge ourselves how our body language should be or how the mouth expression, pronunciation should be. So it is quite helpful, especially in the case of lack of confidence. What to stand in front of the mirror. Yes, very sorry. Before I move further, one thing, there would be a question answer section at the end of this session. So let you jot down the questions and we will solve the same at the end of this session. Fine. Yes, I was giving you some tips about about improving the speaking. And the first one I told you to stand and speak in front of mirror. The second one can put the finger in mouth to give the shape, to cover the tongue, to give a correct pronunciation of the words as the international tone it is. And one must speak naturally, like instead of copying or mugged up answers. One must speak naturally, practice and speak naturally as it is as we speak in the regional language. We should try to speak English too in the same way only. Last but not least, we should record our voice. Once if we record our voice and then the same we listen, not only to record, once to record and then to listen the same. By listening our own recording, we can come to know about our mistakes. If we are talking slow or loudly, either we are fast or slow or whatever, that means we ourselves would be our judges by listening our recording. So this is one of the most important tip for improving our speaking. Sorry. Record the voice, listen the same, find out the mistakes. Fine. And then improve the same mistakes. The same process is to be repeated till the while we get perfection. Clear? So these are some ideas which can improve our general speaking. Now let's begin our speaking section of IELTS. First of all, let me know you that examination of speaking is held apart from all the 3 sections. That means listening, reading and writing. All the 3 sections exam is held on one day at one same coaching examination center at a time. But speaking exam is held either before or after. That means वो सेम डे पे नहीं होता है, या तो एग्ज़ाम से 2-3 दिन पहले हो जाता है या फिर 2-3 दिन, मतलब कुछ गैप, देयर मस्ट बी अ गैप इन बिटवीन दैट. फाइन. नाउ स्पीकिंग इज अ फेस टू फेस मॉड्यूल and it is an extroversion activity, so somehow it is scary too, isn't it? Right? Those who feel it scary, just write in comments yes. If you think it is really, speaking is really a big challenge, then let you agree for the same. It is, but definitely practice makes it perfect and our doubts are to be moved away. Fine. So as I said, it is face-to-face module, means while in exam 2 we have to sit in front of a person and we have to perform our speaking, and that too with smartness, as speaking must be smart. Right? Now the speaking, overall speaking exam section is, duration of this section is 11 to 14 minutes overall, and this exam has been divided into 3 parts. Fine. Part 1 is introduction and interview part. Let us go for one after the other. So the first part is introduction and interview part. The duration of this part is 4 to 5 minutes. As the name suggests, introduction and interview means the same part has been divided into 2 categories. Initially, introduction is means introduction, candidate has to give introduction. The examiner asks 4 basic questions, and these questions are to be asked by each the candidates, since long they have been asked by the examiner forever and ever. Right? And the questions are, the very first most question is, what is your full name? Simply, candidate must be knowing full name. Yes, in Gujarat I have noticed people introduce themselves starting the name with surname, but logically it isn't so. Let your first name be there, then father's name or spouse name, and at last surname must be there. Suppose if someone asks to me, what's your full name? So I will reply, Hiral Vijayakumar Vardhani. Got it? In the same way, your first name must be in the beginning of that. So clear the first question. The first question is, what is your full name, as we discussed. Next would be, how may I address you? To answer this question, if you have some nickname, you may introduce yourself. You may tell the examiner to call by the name. Either if you are someone do have the English nickname like Ruby or John, some boys make them call by the names, or boys or guys I must say. So those names too can be instructed, means told to examiner. And if nothing, no worries. Simply you may tell the examiner, you may call me by my first name, and whatever your first name is. Then the third question is, where do you come from? Here, come from doesn't mean like from road or by train or whatever. It means where do you reside? कहाँ रहते हो आप? So you have to tell about the name of your city, and don't simply tell the name. Along with the name of the city, you have to elaborate a little to it. Like suppose you are telling, I come from Ahmedabad. So don't say only that. You can say, I come from Ahmedabad, which is situated at the banks of Sabarmati, or which is one of the heritage cities of India. Or whatever, at least one quality of the city must be instructed, told along with the name of the city. And the last question of introduction part, not the full part 1, fine, only the introduction. The fourth question, examiner always asks for the identity. May I have your identity please? And the candidate has to simply show the passport. Oh yes, here it is. Or, of course, please. Or you can say, yes, here is my passport. It depends upon the choice of candidate. There are multiple choices to answer the basic questions, but the thing is, the answer should be to the point. Clear? Whatever has been asked should be told. This is just the introduction part, but the name of the round is introduction and interview. So the interview, it is totally related to the candidate. Whatever the questions are asked, they must be related to candidate only. It may be for the candidate's education, food, habits, likes, dislikes, country, city, family, even house, any kind of categories may be there, but those categories are related to the candidate only. And yes, before these general questions, sometimes examiner also do ask, may ask the questions like about work and study. 2 to 3 questions are asked about work and study, not necessarily, but most probably are asked. And then 6 to 7 questions are asked about these all the basic topics which I told you, but the topics always remain very familiar, and the things are asked related to the candidate. As I said, like about family, so examiner may ask the question, in what kind of family do you stay, or about education, so what kind of education goes in your city, what kind of education is of your choice, or do you like co-education or not. If it is about food, so what is your favorite food, which food do you don't like, and vice versa. Moral of the story, the topics would be quite familiar, no worry at all, but we have to take care that the answers must be connected. Keep in mind, the whatever is asked, answer the same. Suppose, like as I said, what kind of family, in which family do you stay, so you candidate has to say, like I stay in nuclear family or joint family or whatever, but one cannot say that in our country commonly people stay in joint family nowadays, because those all things will be off track. Fine. So we have to be on the track. Whatever the thing is asked, only that we have to reply. And be sure, don't give too long answers in part 1 especially, because as I told you, the duration of part 1 is 4 to 5 minutes overall. Fine. In that, simply 4 basic questions come, almost 40 to 50 seconds go away. If 2 work and study questions are 2 to 3 are required, so that means overall maybe near about 10 to 12 questions would be there. We have to answer by 4 to 5 minutes. So the duration of each answer should not exceed 30 seconds. Let it be between 20 and 30 seconds, 25 seconds to 30 seconds. Got it? So the things to take care for part 1, the answers must not be too long, neither too short. A little elaboration should be there. The answers must be to the point. Whatever has been asked, we have to answer the same thing, means the related things. And one more thing, we have to include in our answer expression, answer and extension. That means some expression should be there. A smile should be there on our face, or some expression, like if some answer is in yes or no, so yes, of course, or no, not at all. So the expression should be there. Along with expression, the answer, if I agree or disagree, answer is the main part. We are answering only. And extension, that means elaboration. A little elaboration should also be there of our point to convince the listener. So I hope part 1 is clear to you. However, I told you questions will be held at the end. You may comment your some queries regarding part 1, even now too. In between, I may respond to you. At least comment what is the duration of the part 1. Overall, what is the duration? And how much duration should be of each answer. Fine. Now, if let's go to the part 2 of the exam, speaking section. That is, that part is known as long run or cue card. And in this, and the duration of this part is 3 to 4 minutes. The long run, one second. Wait a minute. So, okay, so, yes, sorry for inconvenience. In fact, some technical issue was there. The duration of part 2, cue card part, is 3 to 4 minutes. And what is cue card now? We can see this is one of the difficult parts. Of course, part 3 is also difficult, but most challenging is part 2 of a speaking section. Cue card is just a card, a piece of paper like. It is provided to the candidate by examiner. One main point is written on the card and 3 other points are also given to related to the main point. Candidate has to speak about the same. One must involve all the points given for that. And the main thing is time. Challenge is time here, because the preparation time is just 1 minute. Fine. Candidate gets 1 minute for preparation, and the one has to speak up for 2 minutes continuously. Presentation for response. Response time is 2 minutes. And here we have to take care that when we are responding the question of part 2, that means cue card, the candidate should speak neither less nor more. 2 minutes means sharp 2 minutes. The content should be prepared in the way that it doesn't even extend largely long, because at 2 minutes sharp the text will get over, means like recording will stop. Yes, that's one thing. The whole our response in a speaking section is recorded, so the speaker should speak clearly and loudly always throughout the session. Fine. Now, as I told, what is the cue card? As I said, one main point will be given and 3 other points are given related to that. And 1 minute, only 1 minute we get for preparation. So what I do suggest, like as soon as one gets the cue card, like we have to first, of course, we have to practice till the while we become quick thinker. The main key to success the cue card round is just quick thinking. Ideas generation must be appeared so soon. If one has to generate the idea, like as soon as one see, because the topics in cue card we can't imagine, even like this may be beyond any limit. It may be very simple too, or maybe whatever, like suppose so what one has to do, that as soon as one gets the point and 3 bullet points are there. Fine, 3 bullet points are given or the 4 bullet points are given. So one must prepare the 3 points for each the point. That means 3 points for the main point, then 3 points each the bullet point. Why I'm explaining the reason too? Because suppose if this way one is going on, that means one would have 12 points to speak, means at least 12 sentences, maybe 12 to 13, 14. So if we consider 10 seconds in each sentence, that means 120 seconds or 2 minutes. So the time management will be held in this way, would be easily managed. Clear? Now, as I told, how to include, like simply I told you, suppose let us discuss one cue card. Suppose the cue card is given, describe a goal which you achieved. Then the bullet points are given, what was the goal, when did you decide it, or when did you decide your goal, what did you do to achieve it, and how did you get it. So if the one thing, sometimes even the 4 bullet points can be given. So if 4 bullet points are given, then one may just simply make 3 points for each the bullet point and just introduce main point initially. But if there are 3 bullet points, then I would suggest to include main point too in a little detail. Either then one may extend some more points in bullet points. Moral of the story, there must be at least 12 points to speak out during the round of cue card, because 120 seconds are to be utilized during this session. Clear? So as I was telling, if we are getting the mentioned cue card which I said about the achieving of goal. So one can include, first of all, introduce goal. What are the goal? What is the goal? Goal is very important skill of life and all those. So 3 points should be about that. Then when did you decide? So it may be at the study time or after graduation. It depends upon the goal. But the 3 points should be there and they should be connected in correct sequence. Like it cannot be initially goal should be introduced, then again some when did we decided, when then again some importance of goal, that spoils the impression. Fine, the ideas should be in correct order only. Clear? This is the cue card round, and while preparing for cue card, one thing is to be taken in care. We must not prepare the whole sentences. We get just a single 1 minute, so only we have to jot down the points. Yeah, if some such the lexical resources, some such words, extraordinary vocabulary terms are coming in mind, and one may think it may skip away, so we may jot down such the words too. So only jot down the points and prepare sentences at the time of speaking only. That too, try to keep in mind instead of looking at the paper several times. But yeah, you can have a view on the card, on the paper, what have you prepared, because officially 1 minute is given for the preparation. Fine, so the second round is clear. So the duration I told you 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, sometimes even followed up questions are asked. After the cue card, 1 to 2 followed up questions are asked for the same. So 1 minute for the preparation, 2 minutes for speaking. Fine, clearly. So it's commonly 3 minutes, or sometimes if the followed up questions are asked, it may extend a little. Now the third part of the round is that discussion round. This round is commonly collected, and duration of this round is again 4 to 5 minutes, and question answers are all same in this part too, but in this part the questions are connected to part 2, means like whatever the topic would have been in cue card, related to that the questions are asked in part 3, means as I said about the goal. So in part 3 too, somehow the questions will be regarding goal only. What kinds of goal people set in your country, or do people get goals, achieve goals easily, what struggles are done along to achieve the goal, and all those. This was just an example. Now what the other things are there? As I said, the questions remain related to this. Near about 5 to 6 questions are asked in this session. Here, candidate needs to extend the length of the answer. And yeah, definitely the questions are not related to candidate. The difference between the questions of part 1 and part 3, sometimes even maybe the same topic, like maybe related to food, maybe related to shopping, the topics which may appear in part 1 too. But we have to understand the difference, what the variation of the question, what is the difference of purpose of the answer question, and how we have to answer. That is in part 1, as I said, I am repeating part 1, reconnecting, not repeating in fact. As I told you, in part 1 the questions remain related to the candidate only, about our personal views. But here in part 3 they become like generally, what do people think, what do the nations do, and all those. The topics too may go, but a topic as told as it would be related to the part 2 cue card, but they ask related to general thinking, what do people think, and all those. And as I said, 4 to 5 minutes are there in the duration, and 5 to 6 questions are asked. So like the length of these answers should be 45 seconds minimum. We have to explain the answer, means whatever the question is asked, the answer should be in detail, as it is the general thinking. Of course 2 views may be there, more than 1 views must be there in the answer. What is the generally things are there, what are the effects, we have to go in somehow in detail, and the length of the answer should be 45 seconds minimum. In part 3, yes, one thing, the answer should be to the point. Once again, whatever has been asked, we have to answer in detail, but we have to answer only whatever has been asked. We can't merge the other things. So this is about the speaking section examination, how the examination is held. If I quick revise the three parts, these are so these are part 1 is introduction and interview part. The duration of the part is 4 to 5 minutes. 4 basic questions are asked, and the other 5 to 6 questions whichever are asked, they remain connected to the candidate. Candidate must include answer, expression, answer and extension in the answers. Fine. Then part 2 is about the cue card, where a cue card is provided by the examiner to a candidate. Candidate must be a quick thinker. The ideas must come at the moment when we see the topic only. As soon as we be going through, we must keep preparing the points. As I said, minimum 12 to 15 points should be prepared to speak out for 2 minutes, that is 120 seconds. And one must, one must speak impressive language also in this. A few questions are asked as per the followed up question for this cue card session. Then part 3 is discussion. This section, in fact, as I said, cue card is also difficult, but part 3 is also but the most difficult, I can say, because the depth, we have to understand the depth of the question and we have to provide detailed things about the same. The topics, if the cue card is of interesting topic, so one may have the questions, even the questions in spite of being related to the topic, the level may be beyond any limit. And so how the questions are not asked as simply as one may expect, or as we can say in the part 1. The questions are transformed in some difficult level, some extra uncommon, and we cannot. And one may request to rephrase the question if it is not clear in part 3. While in part 2 we can't say so. Candidate cannot ask for any other cue card. Whatever the one has been got by the one has to respond for the same. In part 3 too, of course, answers must be given, but if some question is not clear, candidate may request the examiner to rephrase the question. That means to explain the question, what the thing has been asked in. So clear? 4 to 5 minutes, so the length must be 45 seconds as I said earlier. Overall, this is the examination process. Now, of course, I would like to share with you one more thing. If we know how the marks are given or how our performance, response or examination is evaluated or assessed, we of course perform in the way only. So I would like to share some criteria and the parameters at what our speaking session is assessed. There are 4 parameters to assess our performance, whatever we have performed. The first one is fluency and cohesion. And in that fluency, the fluency of a candidate is assessed on the basis of like repetition, hesitation and clearance. Means one should avoid repeating the same terms. Like if one is answering today, the day is so hot. So today the day is so. So that is repetition. The repetition of the terms must not be there. If we must avoid repeating the same words, as well as hesitation should not be there. We must apply some fillers instead of hesitating, like these are the negative signs of our performance. We may need some time to think the answer of the question. So instead of performing in the we may say, yes, if you ask to me, I think, fine, this question makes me to remind. In this way we can fill. Especially for part 3, as I said, it is about the general thinking, so we can put the fillers in that. In my opinion, commonly in my country, generally, or if you ask me this question, I gaze in the coming few years. Fine, whatever, as per the question. Moral of the story, one must avoid hesitation and we have to practice out some fillers to put in the time where we need some time